Alrighty, folks, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. So if you guys saw my this podcast is gonna be very differently. So I'm officially outside. So we're gonna do a nice little outdoor podcast here, and I just so if you guys see any of my posts about the podcast, I recently decided to let go of this podcast, and I will tell you here. Okay, hopefully the mic is on. So I will tell you my reasons why I'm letting go of the podcast, and there's some other stuff I will say on my mind in this podcast as well. So many bugs. So right now we're at Riverside Park. This is the park right here. Beautiful park. I've walked this park on the live stream several times since I walked this park. I've walked by this park several times. Let me flip the front here on live. So we walked this park several times, but it's a beautiful park. So this is where I'm at while I'm doing this podcast. But yeah, I'm gonna throw in the intro and we'll get started. I got on my mic just in case it gets really noisy. So there's a fire truck behind me. There's sirens, all kinds of stuff. Well, this should be good. So I picked a pretty quiet place here. So I'm gonna throw in the intro and we'll get started on today's podcast. Everybody, hold on. Ugh, I'm not good at this. Okay, there we go. I think the intro should be good. But welcome in, folks, to another episode of Prices Are Too High. So I'm pretty much doing a farewell episode for you guys. If I do decide to come back in the future, bring the podcast back in the future, I definitely will let you guys know. But right now, I'm pretty much just saying goodbye to the podcast. I don't feel like it's getting as much attention like it used to. In the beginning, I know last year it started to pick up a bit, but it was doing okay. But now I realize it has dropped a bit. So the views for my podcast has dropped a bit. So, but if you guys wanna see my reruns of the podcast, I will leave them up so you guys can see it. But I made a decision to move on from this podcast, and we've done about let me see, how many episodes have I done so far? Yeah, so far we've done 47 episodes of the podcast. Prices Are Too High. I'm sorry, there's a lot of bugs around, and I'm in the park, so. But that's to be expected. I'm used to it because I work at a job where there's mad bugs. But yeah, I just don't feel like it's been performing as much lately. It's not getting too much of attention, and I don't think YouTube is really pushing out my podcast as much. So I just don't want to feel like I'm wasting my time doing the podcast and there's barely anybody watching it. So, but this is a decision I recently decided to make after maybe the last time I did the podcast, I released a podcast was on my birthday. So it was probably like a week after I dropped my last podcast, and I feel like it's not doing too well. So I decided to just let go of the podcast. And I know some of you guys really enjoyed the podcast. I'm glad my podcast was able to bring some joy to you guys, and I'm glad you guys like the talks that I've did in the podcast, because like, honestly, there's a lot of bullshit going on in this world, a lot, especially with money and everything. And I mean, I'm very thankful that we live in a great city like New York. Beautiful city. There's so much to explore. There's so much to do here. There's so much to adventure in the streets of New York City. Um, the one thing that the one thing that I hate about New York City is that it's just so much greed, and I don't like the greed too much. Like you have to pay to come into downtown. Certain things don't make sense, and if you drive in the city, now you have to pay to come into Midtown, which I find pretty crazy. And you know, the transportation that we have, we can't even get better public transportation here in New York. We can't get better service, but we're paying more money out our pockets, like every week or every month. I think and now that MetroCards is fading out, so we're now is we're pretty. I mean, people are pretty much being forced to move over to Omni, and they got to use the Omni tap pay and go system to get on public transportation. But I must say, like, one of my favorite things about the podcast was, well, the reason why I started this podcast was because because there was a YouTuber that I watched, and I saw her do her podcast. I was like, why don't I do a podcast of my own on my channel? Why don't I start a podcast on my channel? So if I do a podcast, what can I talk about? And what can I talk about? And what is the number one conversation that I could talk about? And also, I wanted to talk about something. I also wanted to be focused on the real problems that was going on in today's world, today's reality. Because sometimes we gotta have certain talks. We have to talk about what's going on in reality, in life. Because it's like, okay, so if you're having issues in life and you don't seek counseling or seek therapists, if you don't do anything about your issues, then it's just gonna continue to build more and more and more. So that's one of the things how I felt when I started the podcast. What is something I could talk about that I can relate with a lot of you guys, or that I can relate with a lot of the people that's watching me. Because at that time, my audience was starting to pick up on YouTube. At that time, this was the beginning of last year. So I decided to drop a podcast, and it was like in the middle of winter time, because in the middle of winter here, the only time things are like really slow here in New York is like in the winter time, like January and February, like right after the holiday season. So between, I'm gonna say, December and March, it's not too much to do here. I mean, you do have the Lunar New Year parade and stuff, which is great. I'm glad I went last year, so which was really awesome. But yeah, so that was like another thing that was giving me something to do as well. What are some interesting topics I could talk about as well that I can definitely relate to, and I feel like I was really focused on the real and big issues in this podcast, and that's when I came up with the name Prices Are Too High, because that's like the number one issue that we are having in this world. And I think just discussing that, I live in a city like New York, everything's so damn expensive. So, and other parts of the world is too. To travel, go on vacation, to do things, it costs a lot of money. It really does. And sometimes you just can't afford it. Like this week, I know I said it over and over again. I was supposed to be in Canada this week, but my friend couldn't afford the trip. So he just came back from vacation. So there you go, right there, expenses. And then bills on top of it. It's a lot. It really it's like, and then money can also become the biggest stress. It's the number one biggest stress of our lives. It's one of our number one biggest stress, because you have to constantly worry about it. You gotta worry about, okay, if I don't pay my bills on time, you know, I'm afraid what's gonna happen. I'm gonna get evicted. I'm gonna get put out. I'm not gonna have a place. I'm not gonna have a If I don't keep up with my rent at such and such time, I'm gonna get put out. So, and it's sad to say, or I'm paying so much money for this. I'm not even getting the service that I need. So it kind of be that way. Or I'm paying triple the money for food, and it's not really as good. So it be that way sometimes. It really does. And that's just, type of world we live in nowadays. Like another thing too, I'm very thankful that I'm monetized on YouTube, but I feel like I put so much effort. I feel like a lot of times too, I also put so much effort into my videos and they don't even be reaching. I'm not talking about the live stream. Sometimes the live streams lack, but doing videos in general, because I really want my videos to reach sometimes, and then, in order for you to get paid on YouTube, your videos have to perform. So YouTube goes based upon numbers if you are monetized on YouTube. So they have this little hype thing, and that's why I've been feeling for the past few months. But that's why I took a long break in August from doing videos, because I just don't want to stress. I don't want it to affect my mental health. I don't want to be one of those type of people. I'm constantly complaining, about my numbers, or I'm not receiving enough revenue. I'm not receiving enough money. So I don't want to do that to myself. So that's why I decided to take a break for a bit, and that's what I try to do. I'm always trying to look for new ways, and I'm always trying to. That's why I go in my studio. I check my analytics. I try to see, because if you're a content creator, I'm pretty sure if you have the YouTube Studio app, you can go in there, you go to your audience, and it tells you like the days and the times. It gives you like a little chart, and it gives you like the days and the times of when most of your viewers are on YouTube. So I've been uploading my videos based upon that. So that's what I've been doing. So in the YouTube Studio chart, it will let me know like it will let me know like the days, the times where most of my viewers are on. So most people, like for example, Friday afternoons, most of my viewers are on YouTube. I think around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I believe around 3 p.m. That's when most of my viewers are on YouTube. That's why I've been uploading my videos mainly in the afternoons, because that's when most people are up and they're online. And I feel like Fridays is a much better timing, because it's like right before the weekend. People, I guess some people might still be at work, but everybody's like scrolling through YouTube, doing whatever. So I figured, all right, this would be a best timing. This would be like a best timing to drop a video. So, but I'm gonna continue uploading my videos every Friday afternoon. So I'm gonna try and aim for that. But I think as now the weather is gonna start changing. So as the weather starts changing, pretty soon more people are going to be indoors, and they'll be spending less time outdoors because it's going to get colder. So most likely people will be on social media more. Oh, and then another thing I like to say as well is that I kind of feel like too, a lot of places are lacking on free stuff, free things to do. That's just my opinion, because it's like, there's this one page on Instagram. I think I do follow the Instagram page. Sometimes it will let you know like free stuff to do in New York City, but I feel like they don't advertise free stuff as much because they just want you to spend money, and I don't see it too much on TV or anything like that. I don't see too much free activities happening on TV and everything. I mean, if you go, I mean, I'll see it on Facebook. So if you go to the Facebook events, Facebook is pretty good at showing you free stuff. Like that's like my other source there. And sometimes they'll show you free events, and then some events you do have to pay for. So that's also my thing too. I feel like the Facebook events, I feel like they should do more advertising free stuff to do in NYC, because it's more helpful. It'll help people like me. Like if I'm looking for, especially if I'm looking for stuff to cover on my channel, and I can just walk in and I don't have to pay no $15-20, then that would be great. If Facebook events advertise more free stuff to do. That's just personally me right there. So that's my preference. Hold on, I'm gonna move because I want to get out of the sun. All right, right here is good. All right, I had to move because the damn sun is just beaming on me, and it's hot, and it's still humid outside. So it's like every time I walk, I still sweat. So like kind of like the summertime, kind of. Well, the only difference though is that it's not as hot right now, but it's still pretty much humid outside, pretty much. But yeah, I kind of feel like they kind of lack on it. I'm not saying there's no free stuff to do, but I just feel like they lack on. I mean, I'm not saying they don't have any. They don't like. Yeah, I'm not saying they don't have any free stuff to do here in the city, but I just feel like they lack on advertising. I personally feel like there should be free stuff. I'm pretty sure there's free stuff to do in the parks, but I feel like there should be more advertising, you know, to get more people. I feel like it will help get more people out in the community, and get more of the locals out a bit, because you know we're also used to spending money, especially a lot of money as well. So, and then I also feel like, oh yeah, you know, though, I thought about something too, that I definitely would like to talk about in this podcast. So we all know the new iPhone just came out. It pretty much just came out with a new phone. I know I had this discussion like last year about it. I did a live podcast talking about it, and the crazy part is that, you know, I get it. So we all like to have new stuff, but I don't understand why people upgrade every single year. You know, I don't understand at all. We all know Apple does not make the effort, doesn't put in that much effort into their phones. Probably not as much as Samsung or all these other phone companies or Android. But I don't get it. It's super expensive. You're spending $1,800 every single year on just to have a brand new device, just to have a brand new phone. And I'm not quite understanding that. And the lines be super long. Like, y'all know they don't make that much effort into the iPhones. And then what's crazy is that I be seeing videos, people complaining about the new phones. Oh, Apple don't put that much money into the phones and all that stuff. You know, where is it? You know, don't y'all realize that they just putting phones out there just to make money? They only focus on making more money, so they don't care about putting that much effort into their phones. They just trying to add like one or two. How I put it? They're just trying to add one or two bullshit steps, and then make money off of the damn device. That's their goal right there. But no wonder why they're not making that much effort into the new iPhones, because y'all keep buying them every year. Simple as that. And I saw a video on TikTok one time, and one person was like, the reason why Apple is not really doing anything with these new phones, because y'all keep buying them. And it's true, y'all keep buying the new phones, y'all keep upgrading every single year. Y'all keep wasting y'all money. Like, I just got my phone. I just got my iPhone 16 back in January, I believe. Because I traded my old device in. So, but I came from a 13 to the 16, and it's not a huge difference, but it's a couple of difference as well. So, and I really like the camera, so that's why I'll upgrade it. But anyways, hell, I'm sticking with my phone that I got. So, but I don't upgrade every year, so that's one great thing I could say about myself, because you're spending 3 times the money on a phone, which is ridiculous. So that's just me personally. So, I'm having this discussion because we all know it's iPhone season, so that's what some people like to call it. So it's the month where the new phones come out. So I mean, the 17 looks nice, but it's not really a big difference from the 16. And I'm gonna honestly say, I'm kind of disappointed with the Air. I don't get it. I kind of don't get the Air. That's just my opinion personally. Hey, I personally don't get it. That's all I'm just saying about the iPhone Air. I'm not understanding the whole one camera thing at all. It kind of reminds me of the SE. I think the SE stands for Special Edition. So that's what it kind of reminds me of. It's kind of giving the SE. It's not giving anything different. Like I said, they just put it out there just to make more money. But I'm just telling the truth. Hell, I know I'm with Apple, but hey, well, I'm happy with my phone, so that's all that. I feel like that's all that matters to me. As long as you're happy with your device, that's all that matters. Period. And as long as it works, that's it. So, if your phone is not on its last leg, there's really no need to upgrade. Period. Unless you really, really have to. But that's all I'm going to say on the whole new iPhone situation. I know there was one streamer that was live streaming the Apple Store, and it was a long line. It was the Apple Store on 5th Avenue. The line went from 5th Avenue all the way down to Madison Avenue, and I think around the corner. And I figured the line was going to be all the way towards Park Avenue, but that line was super long that day. It was really, really long. That was a long ass line, so but I was watching it on a YouTube live stream, and I was like, what the hell? Sheesh. And also too, like, I also saw they had like I guess they was also protesting Apple, and it was something about, keeping their children safe. Like, listen, I know it sounds, I don't know what the whole protest was about, but like, listen, it's not on them to make sure and to monitor what your children are doing. That's you. That's that. Like, I'm sorry, but don't blame Apple for your failure as a parent. And why this is happening to your child, why is that happening to your child? No, it's not their responsibility. It's your responsibility as a parent. That's my opinion. It's like me blaming Samsung for what happened to my kid. My kid harmed himself because he wasn't protected from such and such. That's my job as a parent, to protect my child from whatever the hell is going on. It's not nobody else's responsibility. It's not Samsung's responsibility. It's my responsibility. That's just my opinion. There was some people they was blaming Apple, for not, I don't know, I guess keeping the children safe. But listen, you guys are the parents. Y'all supposed to make sure your children is safe. That's just my overall opinion. So I kind of didn't understand that whole protest when I was watching the live stream at the Apple Store on Fifth Avenue. The one on Fifth Avenue, that one is open 24/7. That's the only location that I know of that's open 24/7. The rest of the Apple stores are not. They close. I think they close like after 9 o'clock, 8:30 or 9 o'clock, right around there. So that's just my overall opinion there. But that's just my opinion. I'm just sharing my opinion. I'm not trying to be biased. I'm not trying to make shit up. But I'm just expressing how I feel. You can disagree with me. It's totally okay. That's it. But but don't bash me for having an opinion. That's just my overall opinion. I know I'm not a parent, but hey, listen. At the end of the day, as a parent, you are responsible for your child, not nobody else. Not nobody else. That's just my opinion overall. And I think there's one more thing I do want to talk about as well before we close out the podcast, this special farewell podcast. Also lately, I've also been seeing a lot of food pantries. I was seeing something about food earlier, but I think I've discussed it before, but I think I'll talk about it again. Um, lately I've been seeing, maybe the past couple months, I've been seeing a lot of food pantries, yeah, or food distributes, food giveaways, because I mean, times are tough, man. It really is tough. And I don't know if they raised the tariffs on a lot of stuff, but I don't even want to mention this orange bastard in chief. But I'm gonna just say one thing. Like, the dude's a bully, man. Like, I don't understand. Like, dude, he literally got a talk show host canceled for having freedom of speech. Like, and then he's also bullying other people, trying to come after them for having an opinion about him. Like, listen, we all have a right to free speech. That's just my overall opinion. Like, how are you going to punish somebody for having free speech? Like, it's just stupid to me. But back to the whole food thing. But, definitely been seeing a lot of food distributes, food pantries, because times are tough. Times are like really, really tough. Who can afford to go to the grocery store? I think yesterday I went with my mom. We only bought a couple of things yesterday. We only bought a few things yesterday at the grocery store, and she spent like a little over $100 just for, like, maybe, I don't know how many items did she buy. It's probably about a good 7 or 8 items, just for about 7 or 8 items. The Oreo cookies that I got, the box of Oreo cookies, it used to be like, I think like $8 or $9. Now it's $13. I barely saw any Oreo cookies for like under $10, and this was at BJ's. So who can afford to go to the grocery store? And then people are losing their SNAP benefits. So the SNAP benefits or the food stamps, that's something that people would buy. So they would get money. The food stamps, I don't know if they get money from the government. I'll have to do my research. I'm not sure. But they would get money for they would get money for food stamps, and they would go to the grocery store, and they come out with a whole shopping cart of food. And they didn't bought so much money with the food stamp benefits. So some people are losing that, and it's crazy. Like, I don't understand why y'all taking away people's benefits. But listen, this is the person people voted for. So y'all getting exactly what's coming to y'all. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, I think we had. I think I had. I didn't. I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to just say what was on my mind. So that's all I wanted to say. And just really speak what's on my mind as well. And I think I did that already. I think we've covered several topics for in this podcast, but this is a farewell podcast, everybody. So I'm saying for right now, I'm saying goodbye. The prices, two prices are too high. So if things do pick up again in the future, well, hopefully, if my videos do pick up a bit more in the future, then maybe I'll bring the podcast back. I don't know yet, but for right now, I'm saying goodbye to it. I think I'm gonna focus more on like food reviews, going to different places, adventuring. I think that's what I'm gonna focus more on, as well. So I'm gonna try to do more food reviews and going to different places, walking tours of different places. I know I'm not in Canada right now, but maybe I'll do more of a walking tour places in Connecticut. Maybe one day I'll try to convince my friend, maybe we could take a trip up to Canada and, I mean, not Canada, up to Connecticut and maybe stay there for a couple of days. We can do some walking tours of Connecticut. So I don't know if he's ever been to Connecticut, because Connecticut is super close. Connecticut is like an hour train ride from here, from the city. So it's not bad. It's like an hour. But Connecticut is a bit more further than Jersey. Jersey is super close. Jersey is maybe 20 minutes away from the city. All depending on which part you're at. If you're in Midtown, then you're 5 minutes away. But if you're like in Harlem, Upper West Side, maybe about a good 25 minutes away from where you're at. Maybe 45 minutes, depending on where you go to. Like, the great thing about Jersey is that you can walk the George Washington Bridge. You guys seen it on my live. So you can walk the GW Bridge, and all you have to do is go to Washington Heights and go on the GW Bridge. That's like the only way you can walk to New Jersey is the GW Bridge. Everything else you gotta pay to go into New Jersey. That's like one way. I think I need to start doing that. So I need to start finding a way to just get into Jersey, for free without paying. That's just me. But what I need to work on too is finding more free stuff to do, because a lot of us New Yorkers that's like another thing a lot of us New Yorkers lack on, trying to find free stuff to do. I mean, I have my faults as well. I'm saying me too, because a lot of times all we do is we just blow our money off. We spend so much money, but we don't like to find anything free to do. So if we can find more free stuff to do, we can get out and adventure. We can find out like what's going on in the parks, what's going on there, like Bryant Park. They have a lot of free stuff to do in Bryant Park. I think I should get more involved with what's going on in Bryant Park, because they be having a lot of free stuff throughout the summer. I know Mondays is like movie nights, so they do it from, I think, June to August. So every Monday night they do free movies. It all depends. I'm not gonna go to it every single Monday. It has to be a movie that they're gonna show that will catch my interest. That's just my overall opinion there. I don't want to watch a boring movie. I don't want to watch a movie that's gonna bore me. I want to watch a movie that's gonna interest me. So Bryant Park is one of the best ones as well. I like going on the High Line, but it's just less to do there. It's not that much to do on the High Line, but just walk around and stuff. But I wish there was more activities and more. If they have more activities and more free events and stuff. If they have more events on there, then yeah, I will go more often just to check out the events there. But yeah, so well, I'm gonna get going. Gonna grab some food. I hope you guys enjoyed this farewell podcast, everybody. So, and I honestly want to say, for those that been tuning into the podcast since day one, that's really been enjoying it, thank you for your support um to the podcast. I really appreciate you guys for always tuning in. For some of those, for you guys for always tuning in and watching my podcast. I'm happy that I can bring these type of conversations to you guys as well. And if I decide to bring the podcast back in the future, I'll definitely make a big announcement. But for right now, I'm saying farewell to the podcast. So don't worry, the reruns will be up if you guys want to see it at any time, and you can just catch it at your own time. If you ever, I don't know, I guess if you're ever going through something, I guess related to money or whatever, financial stuff, just so you know, the podcast will still stick around, so you can just watch it at any time. But thank you guys for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate y'all so much for being here. And yeah, thank you guys so much. And appreciate y'all for being here. But anyways, you guys, take care, folks. This is the end of the podcast. Final episode of the podcast. A little series finale. And I will see you guys in my other videos as well. So there will still be stuff going on the channel, so don't worry. I just won't be working on. There just won't be no more podcasts. So stay tuned for the food reviews, walking tours. There's a lot more going on. They're gonna bring back. They're supposed to bring back the. Oh yeah, I want to say Saks Fifth Avenue. They announced they're gonna bring back the Saks Fifth Avenue holiday lighting. So they're gonna bring that back this year. So that's great news right there. So I will do a members only live stream on that. I wanted to do it last year, but they didn't do it. They didn't bring it back last year. So I will do it this year just to make up for last year. But anyways, folks, have a good day and see you guys in my other videos. It's been a pleasure doing this podcast, and I'm really proud of a lot of the topics that we talked about here. So have a good one, folks, and see you in my other videos.